We are live. We are live. Welcome to College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do us well, please subscribe to our channel. Smash the like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and friends if you want to support this college football rebel outpost, the home for the true college football sickos. With the donation, help us keep the lights on. Hit that $sign where you make your comments, and I'll get to your super chat as quick as I possibly can. Welcome everybody, and I mean everybody, into the studio that sits on the corner, the very corner of Keith Jackson Parkway and Kurt Gowdy Avenue. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to become a legend with your comments and with your phone calls. It is July 14th. It is SEC Media Days. And I am not going to start this live show ripping on the Southeastern Conference. I've been giving the SEC a lot of shots, and no, I don't agree with Greg Sankey. I do not agree with his vision. Yada, yada, yada. You've heard it all before. I'm going to give an elbow. I'm going to start the first day of the Southeastern Conference Media Days. I'm going to throw an elbow. And it's only a handful of you, or at least it's a handful of you that have either put it in the comments on X or put it in my DMs. But my goodness, Big Ten fans People who root for Big Ten schools, get a grip. Get a grip. Holy smokes. Now, today, somehow today on July 14th, I became a Southeastern Conference apologist. Now that is the new conspiracy for the fat guy in Minnesota. Maybe they did hear. Maybe the word has gone out that my 92-year-old mother is an Alabama Crimson Tide fan. As a lot of you, the original PATC family members, know. Maybe that's it. I don't know. Or maybe, just maybe, we've been talking. Now, I'm not ripping on the whole Big Ten fan base. Fans of Big Ten schools, but I gotta say, relax. Relax to everybody. We've been talking, we gave the peek around the corner of what is going on in regards to the SEC, to the Big Ten, to the Big 12, trying to push their brand globally. It is one of the big reasons why they are talking to private capital, private equity. We're going to go through some reports. It's not going to take us very long because we're not going to focus on that. But on today's show. But Greg Sankey talked about private equity. He says, we haven't seen a deal. I'm paraphrasing. We haven't seen a deal like that we like quite yet. They're definitely not saying no to it. And we've been saying this week after week after week after week. There's going to be a lot of pauses. There's going to be pauses. We don't know when it's going to happen. Don't take these pauses. Don't take these not yet as a no, a forever no. Don't do it. Don't do it because however this third party comes in, it is coming in. This money, be it from the United Arab Emirates or somewhere else, it is coming on in. And the connections that this third party is going to have is going to be coming on in. Sankey even said today they met with a private equity company last week. They're taking this all seriously. They're going to take all this information in. Now, one of the things that has to happen, probably, most likely, is some sort of stability in college football. And we don't have that yet. However, this is what I'm going to tell the Big Ten people, the fans of the Big Ten schools. RELAX, relax. I made a comment about the Southeastern Conference advertisement for on any given Saturday, their documentary that is going to be on Netflix. And I think the first day is going to be August 5th or August 6th. It don't matter. And I thought it was absolutely fire. I thought it was a great, great advertisement. Netflix has a documentary going out for many of their schools, not all of them, that what transpired during the 2024 season. And it's going out on Netflix. And I had, quite a few, not just Big Ten fans, but quite a lot of people saying, but particularly the Big Ten folk out there. Great. Don't you understand that the Big Ten Network has been doing these for years? Don't you understand, Greg, that this is nothing new? If you check my X account, there were a few comments exactly like, or not exact, but something to that effect. I haven't commented back to any of those. To all the people who send me a DM, I have not made a comment back to you at all on any of those, because I'm trying to be a kinder, gentler Greg this week. Ladies and gentlemen, I know the Big Ten Network has been producing these type of documentaries of seasons in basketball and football. I get it. Everybody gets it. That's not the point. That's not the point. That's not the point. The point is that the Southeastern Conference, along with the Big Ten, along with the Big 12, and most likely, but I have not heard, most likely the ACC. We'll see what happens there. But they are at the beginning stages of pushing their brand globally. I'm sorry. Look, I'm a big fan of the Big Ten Network. I have the Big Ten Network. The Big Ten Network has been incredible for the Big Ten universities, the institutions, the athletic departments. Some of these sports in the Big Ten Network have grown dramatically because of the network. Women's volleyball is one prime example. But don't begin to try to tell me that the Big Ten Network has a global reach equal to Netflix. That is the point that I've been saying for weeks. This is the first salvo of many for the Southeastern Conference. And you are going to see salvos from the Big Ten. This is a test market. They're testing this. They're putting it out internationally. This ain't going to be just shown on American Netflix. Google it. This is a test. This is the first step of many. This is not even the first step, really. Dana White. I don't know what his title is at UFC, Ultimate Fighting Championship. UFC, he's the CEO, president, whatever. And he is the point man for UFC media negotiations. He just said today, we are in the middle, and again I'm paraphrasing, we are in the middle of our next media negotiations, and we are going to take this globally. They're going to use a media platform that can take it globally. Most likely, Netflix, as TKO has put the WWE on Netflix. I'm not saying it's a lock that someday Southeastern Conference live sport content is going to be on Netflix. I'm not saying that's a lock, but I would not bet against it. Global markets. Global. So when the SEC, when I saw this commercial, this advertising, a little bit of a hype machine for the Southeastern Conference Netflix, I thought it was pretty fire. And again, you can say, nah, they didn't do a good job, whatever. That's fine. But when people are telling me over and over and over again, and I see it all over X, but the Big Ten has done it on the Big Ten Network, you're missing the point. You're completely missing the point. Anyways, I wanted to start off the first day of SEC Media Days throwing an elbow at my fellow Big Ten fans. Okay? T5 Terps, who knows? Who knows? Who knows? And so we are going to talk about the SEC Media Days. Not too much happening, not too much news coming out of there. A lot that came out of there was expected. We are going to put the Tennessee Volunteers under the PATC spotlight. Now, the last two teams that PATC has put under the spotlight this last Sunday and Friday was the Florida Gators and the Nebraska Cornhuskers. I feel a little positivity toward the Gators and the Cornhuskers. I do. But today, unfortunately, I do not feel the same for the Tennessee Volunteers for 2025. We are going to go over that. You can tell me how wrong I got it, but remember, 2025 is not nowhere close. Nowhere close.
I know you told your friend
it's not going to be Greg the Colt.
And tell me what's wrong.
If I tell you Tennessee is going to have a down year, the Volunteers are going to have a down year. No more. No more. Greg the Colt.
As you fade away.
Fading away. Fading away.
Yeah, I'm about to fade away, cause every time I wake up I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything the same way. Got a buildup of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray. I'm sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay. Just let me be me and I'll stay.
Okay, that's a reminder. That is a reminder. No more Greg the Colt. So we're going to do a spotlight the Tennessee Volunteers. And then we got to talk Nick Saban. A report, McElroy, Nick Saban is not done yet coaching. He's not done yet being a head coach. Are we talking college football? Are we talking the NFL? If we are talking college football, there was an interesting article written by Tom Fornelli, CBS Sports, that brings up the top 5 places he could end up, but we're only going to go over 4 of them because I'm not buying the number 5 spot. But the 4 spots, possibly Florida State in 2026, the Seminoles. How about the Michigan Wolverines? What about the Texas Tech Red Raiders? Oh, but we cannot cancel out where he's won it before, the LSU Tigers. Could one of those 4 spots be where Nick Saban coaches again, or is there another place that I just did not mention? Is there a wild card out there? Is Nick Saban coming back? You know what's interesting? Do you know what's interesting? Nick Saban hasn't said a word, not yet, since this report has come out. Remember when it was reported that Nick Saban was going to head up some sort of commission, President Trump, and then he came out quickly after that and said, nah, I really got no interest. Nick Saban, I do not believe he said a word yet in public. So keep an eye on that. We're going to talk about that, the main story here at Peek Around the Corner. I'm very interested to hear what you guys got to say. What wild speculation are you going to come up with? Ryan Willie, I hate needing to have a 1,000 streaming services to watch my favorite sports. I think everybody can agree through Ryan Willie, but that is where we are going. That is where we are going. Thank you, Ryan Willie, for the super chat. Thank you for starting us off again today. For all your generosity, Ryan Willie, I very humbly say thank you. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Appreciate it so very much. Let's go through a roll call here. Don Scruggs is in the house. The almighty Finn. Ryan Brooks, if Brian Kelly doesn't get it done. If Brian Kelly doesn't get it done. Does Nick Saban come back to LSU? Can it happen? Would Ryan Brooks want that to happen? Richard L. is in the house. Colorado Buffalo. Daniel Gygax is here. Bo Weevil. Go Clemson. The almighty Finn. Go Nose. Go Ute. Still Austin. USC Jose. CFB Plus. I don't think Saban will come back. The architect is in the house. Caleb Ramirez is here. Preston from Greensboro, North Carolina is in the house. Big Gun Shop, what's up? Super Genius. Christopher Hooter is here. Christopher Hooter is here. Rock and Rant. Greg Sankey apparently on his way to Minnesota to discuss the CFP. Really? I have not heard that. Is he coming into my studio? Is he coming into my studios? That would be a very interesting confrontation. Bob Swanger is in the house. Big Lubbock. If Joey McGuire doesn't get it done, will Nick Saban get it done in Lubbock, Texas? Could that be a possibility? Outlaw Skis is in the house. Al Bundy is here. Jay Chapman. D5 Terps. Stephen Vitt. Thomas is here. Charlie Atwood. Expedition Greg, thanks for coming on in. Morris Simmons. I wonder what Simmons thinks of the possibility. If Mike Norvell doesn't get it turned around. If Alabama murders Thomas Castellanos. If Florida State collapses again, would Morris Simmons accept Nick Saban into Tallahassee? Who else is here? Who have I missed? Jacob is in the house. Thank you, Jacob. Appreciate it. If it's college, it's got to be LSU. Brian Kelly better get his stuff together. Ryan Brooks. Morris Simmons says Michigan State. The Shuri Killer is in the house. Nerf is here. A reversible Greg the Cooler on one side, Greg the Gold on the other. That's a brilliant idea. Brilliant idea. Norvell buyout of $63 million. Kelly is 61. Woo! Stormy Cyclone is in the house. Okay, let's get to it. Let's get to it. First of all, it is the start of the SEC Media Days. So we should start our show talking about the Southeastern Conference Media Days. Heather Dinich, ESPN. Sankey referenced Big 12 commish Brett Yormark's comments about doubling down on 5+11 and said it's part of the gambling experience. You always want to have a good set of cards, a good hand to play. I think we have the best hand to play. I don't know. Go ahead and play it. And I think we're just going to call game. Everyone's going to go home, and I'll see you 4 years from now. How about them apples? How about them apples? Brett McMurphy. Southeastern Conference, Greg Sankey said he spoke with Big Ten's Tony Petitti 4 out of 5 days last week. We have a different view. We have a 12-team playoff that can stay if we don't agree on the new format. Okay, let's keep it. Let's go with 12-team playoff. I can't wait for the Big Ten Media Days. I can't wait for Silent Tony to come out in front of the microphone and say, yeah, 5+11. Of course, he ain't going to say this, but shut it down, Tony. Shut it down. Walk away. Walk away. You don't have to talk to Sankey 4 out of 5 days. You don't have to. No more advisory meetings. No more nothing. Just go silent. Walk away. No more negotiations. We'll see you 4 years from now. We'll go 12-team playoff all the way to 2030, and then, you know what? We'll see what happens. We'll see. No one is willing. Look, the Big Ten probably most willing to go 5+11, but the SEC is going to have to give somewhere, and the Southeastern Conference doesn't want to give. They don't want to go to the 9th conference game. They've been talking for years about going to. You don't want to go there? Okay, fine. We're not expanding the playoffs. Not without AQs. Now, we'll stay with 12. We'll stay with 12. This is good news from Tony Petitti. Having all these discussions with Sankey, and yet nothing has been moved on this. Good news. Sankey says the 12-team playoff format can stay for more years if there's no agreement on the format for the 14 to 16-team playoffs. It's not like you just show up and pound your fist and something happens. Exactly. I agree with Sankey. Petitti don't have to slam his fist. Just walk away. Just tell Greg Sankey and the Big 12 and the ACC the following terms. I'm willing to compromise. I'm willing to go 5+11 for the good of the game, for the good of the game, for the good of the game. And you guys can screw around with those metrics. You can dally them up all you want. You're all going to be pissed at each other at the end of the year, but whatever. Do whatever you want with the metrics. Go to 5+11. But the SEC's got to go to 9 conference games. If the SEC doesn't move on anything, bye-bye. Bye-bye. We'll see you 4 years from now. And by the way, 4 years from now, things are going to be looking a lot different. The Big Ten should not even play its cards. Just walk away from the table. Walk away. Nick Albach, Sankey on the college football playoff decisions. We don't need unanimity. Ultimately, if there isn't, there's a level of authority granted to the Big Ten and the SEC together. It's not like you just show up and pound your fists and something happens. I hope that type of narrative can be reduced. There's no one talking about that narrative, except for an idiot like me. But I'm a nobody. Tony Petitti's not talking. Nobody's talking that way, except for maybe your Mark saying he's doubling down. Petitti, all he has to do is say thank you, no thank you. It ain't happening. It ain't going to be no 5+11 and the SEC stays at 8 conference games and you get to doctor the metrics even more in your favor. It ain't happening. Why in the hell would the Big Ten even agree with that? So shut it down. Shut it all down. We'll see you in 2030. And the complexion of the conferences are going to look much different. Walk away, Petitti. Walk away. Greg Sankey confirms that the Southeastern Conference has explored private equity, capital avenues, but we've not seen a concept that works yet. Sankey asked if the Southeastern Conference was open to private equity, private capital. He confirmed the league had explored it, but noted we've not seen the concept that works. It doesn't mean we won't consider opportunities. If there are opportunities for mutual benefit, those would pique our interest. They're going to keep talking to these guys. They're going to keep talking to private equity, private capital. Same thing with the Big Ten. Same thing with the Big 12. Once we have more stability, once we know what the college football playoffs is going to look like, once we know if we have codification or not, more firm decisions can be made. But at some point, some sort of third-party partnership is coming on in. is coming on in. And again, Sankey did say pretty much that the Big Ten and the SEC has the power to build the structure of the CFP, but they don't agree. So it's not going to happen. But again, Sankey and Yormark are in a disagreement on that. The commissioners can't even agree with who has the authority. It's really is unbelievable. It really is unbelievable. But anyways, nothing was a surprise today. On December 1st, unfortunately, that is the deadline for 2026. It looks like the chances of 4AQ 442213. It looks like I'm going to be eating a cheeseburger live show December 1st or December 2nd. Hopefully I survive eating that cheeseburger live so then I can do the conference championship watch parties. If I don't survive, I don't want you all to blame yourselves. This is on me. I was so sure that this was locked in. I was so sure that because we had been told by chatter behind the curtain that the SEC had agreed with this, the motto, and then they flipped when they got to Destin, Florida. I was so sure. But it looks like it's going to be my downfall. Fat guy from Minnesota, the downfall, eating the cheeseburger on December 1st or 2nd. It looks like it's going to happen. Okay. No, it's not a mental block. It's not a mental block, Cranky Tiger. It's an elevated palate. An elevated palate. Which you Einsteins don't seem to have. No. 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 Okay, let's get to the Tennessee Volunteers. The spotlight. And then we'll go to Nick Saban, and then we'll open up your phone. We'll open up the phone lines for anybody who want to call in, talk about anything in college football. Joey Aguilar, last two seasons in the Sun Belt, Appalachian State. He had a better year 2 years ago. He had a better year in 2023. He slid a little bit last year. Over 3,000 yards passing. 23 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, in only a 55.9% completion percentage. A 132.9 quarterback rating. Now, if you watch them play, and hopefully you have, he's fun to watch. He's a baller. He's a gutsy kid. He had a lot better year the year before. His completion percentage, I believe, was in the upper 60s. His TD interception ratio was better. His quarterback rating was much better. But he went in the portal. Tennessee went and got him. And it looks like this is going to be the starter for the Volunteers. Again, at the beginning of this live show, I went and I said, look, I have a lot of positive feelings about the Gators and the Cornhuskers. The last two spotlights we've done here at Peek Around the Corner, I cannot share that same positivity with the Volunteers for 2025. The quarterback position is a wild card. The running back position, they're going to need these young guys to really, really, really come out. Peyton Lewis showed a little bit last year. Remember, they lost Dylan Sampson, the great Sampson, the great running back. He went to the NFL. Peyton Lewis carried the rock a little bit. 339 yards, 5.3 average, 3 rushing touchdowns, 4 receptions. They're looking for big things. Big things. Peyton Lewis. Deshaun Bishop, RB2. 74 yards rushing last year, 6 yards average, 3 rushing touchdowns. He got to play just a little bit. Bishop and Lewis. Lewis and Bishop. Is that a good enough running back combination? We're not going to know. These guys have barely played. They're coming in with a lot of hype, but we don't know. A lot of inexperience in the RB position, the RB room at Tennessee. You got a quarterback coming from the Sun Belt. Holy smokes. Even their wide receiver room. Everybody would tell you the Volunteers' wide receiver room is very thin. Chris Brazil, I think he came from Tulane. Yeah, he came from Tulane a couple of years ago. Had a pretty good year with Tulane. Goes in the portal. Played at Tennessee last year. He was supposed to be their long ball threat, but that didn't really happen last year. They're hoping that he can stretch the field this year. But is he going to stretch the field with Joey Aguilar? Is he going to be able to stretch the field when that offensive line has not been good the last 2 years? Tennessee's offensive line, we talked about it all last year, has not been good. I got questions all over the place at Tennessee. And this one hurts. This one hurts. Jermod McCoy, a fantastic cornerback for Tennessee. Second team All-American, second best among returning Power 4 when it comes to his PFF rating. 13 pass defenses. A magnificent shutdown corner, got injured in January. ACL. Look, I don't know where his recovery's at. I do not know. If you know it in the chat room, if you know it, let me know. Put it down in the comment. But this guy's an NFL player. Hopefully he recovers. Hopefully he can help the Volunteers. They're still going to have a really good secondary. Arian Cotta, linebacker, Ricky Gibson, cornerback. They've got some guys. Dominic Bailey, the senior defensive end. They had a pretty good defense last year. But they really need Jermod McCoy. And again, he's a question mark. To me, the whole Tennessee team in 2025 is a question mark. Here is their football schedule. They start the season at home. When I'm talking about conference, the conference schedule, Georgia. Georgia at home. We are going to learn everything we need to know about Tennessee on September 13th. They play at Mississippi State, at home Arkansas, at Alabama, at Kentucky, at home against Oklahoma, at Florida, at home against Vanderbilt. They start the season on Saturday morning, ABC, 11 o'clock Central Time, 12 o'clock noon time. On the East, Syracuse at home against the Orange. I do not foretell. I cannot see Tennessee challenging for the playoffs this year. I think they're going to take more than one step back. More than one step back. I think a lot of SEC teams are going to pass the Tennessee Volunteers up. One of them being Florida. Missouri's going to be better. Oklahoma is going to be better. I think it's going to be a tough year. I know, look, it is, I get it. It is not, it's kind of stupid of me to look at Josh Heupel and say your team's going to take a step back, even offensively, when the Heupel offense seems to be able to move the ball no matter what. But last year, I think that offense would have been totally lost if it wasn't for the brilliance of their running back, Sampson, who broke so many tackles before he got to the line of scrimmage. He made that offensive line look half decent. Nico, I'm leaving on a jet plane, scrambling around, made the offensive line look half decent. But that offensive line, they don't have a Sampson, they don't have a Nico, they got a Joey Aguilar, they've got two running backs who have barely played, they've got a thin wide receiver room. The Tennessee Volunteers are going to struggle just to go bowling in 2025. I think they'll get to a bowl game, but I don't think they're going to challenge at the top of the Southeastern Conference. Put down your comments and thoughts in the comment section below the video and let me know how wrong I got it once again, but I don't think so. I do not think so. Okay, let's get to Nick Saban. Let the speculation run wild. Nick Saban is not done yet. He's not done yet. It ain't over. He can be the head coach once again. Ryan Willie Saban's wife didn't like the Midwest weather. No way he ends up in Michigan again. Thank you, Ryan Willie. I appreciate the super chat. He was at Michigan State. I don't think he ends up at Michigan either. I think there are, on the list that we are about to give, the 4 schools, I think 2 of them, I think I can see him at either one. The other 2 I can't see. One of them being Michigan. We will go through that in a moment. Thank you, Ryan Willie, once again for your super chat. Thank you for all your support. I think over the last 3 live shows, Ryan Willie, I think you have given us about 90% of the donations. So thank you so very much. I appreciate it. Very kind, sir. Thank you so very much. Let's get back to it. Nick Saban. Greg McElroy, person in the know, believes Nick Saban will return to coaching. ESPN analyst and former Alabama quarterback Greg McElroy predicted Nick Saban will return to coaching at some point. He cited a very much in the know person who thinks Saban would get back to the sidelines. Holy smokes. This is a little bit out of left field, but the question was asked of me. A very much in the know person that I have a lot of respect for and have spent a lot of time around and just really, really admire. McElroy said during an interview with Paul Feinbaum, they seem to think Nick Saban's not done coaching. I had a similar reaction. He's pretty adamant that he thinks Nick Saban will be coaching again. If it wasn't someone notable, I would never say a word. So Tom Fornelli puts out an article off based on that information, titles the article, "Let's say Nick Saban does coach again. These college football teams would be the best fits for the GOAT's return." Now, Tom Fornelli put out a list of 5 teams. Number 5 on his list was North Carolina. And I'm not buying that at all. If Bill Belichick doesn't work out, they're not going to go to Nick Saban. I do not believe that at all. We're not going to talk about North Carolina as a possibility. I don't think they are. In my strongly held opinion, you can let me know how wrong I got it once again, but I'm not talking North Carolina. Sorry, Preston from Greensboro. Look, either Bill Belichick survives the next 2 years at least, or it all blows up this year and they're not going to go to Nick Saban. So here are the top. Now, that was the number 5 on Tom Fornelli's list. That was his long shot. Number 4 is Texas Tech. While North Carolina might have experience, they don't have the same kind of money cannon needed to compete at the top level of college football these days. If Nick Saban is coming back, he ain't doing it for a 7-5. He'll want resources and a strong local recruiting base to build a program and to compete for titles. Texas Tech, number 4 on the list. Top 4. We certainly know Tom Fornelli, CBS Sports. We certainly know Texas Tech has the money. They've been splashing the cash like an 18-year-old celebrating his birthday at a strip club. What Texas Tech doesn't have at the moment is the name brand credibility that would get them immediate access to the VIP section. They've got to overpay slightly to get to that. Enter Nick Saban. You think anybody is making Nick Saban stand in line to get in? Hell no. The velvet rope is opening and he's walking right into the best booth they got. One with crystal on ice waiting for him. Texas Tech Red Raiders. What do you guys think? Number 3 on the list. Number 4 was Texas Tech. Number 3, the Florida State Seminoles. Who's up for watching Nick Saban restore a fallen giant to glory? Think of the storyline. The man whose program kept Florida State out of the college football playoff 2 years ago, causing the Seminoles to descend into such deep depression that they convinced themselves DJ Ungale was the solution to their problems, offering an apology by offering to save them. Now that would be an incredible storyline. We know Florida State can compete for the national titles, and the turnaround probably won't take too much time considering the wiggle room offered by the ACC, where the only true threats are Clemson and Miami. Considering Miami has never won the league, are they truly a threat? My concern here would be financial. How much money would the Noles have given the ACC financial situation and the buyout they'd have to pay to make Mike Norvell go away? Number 2 on the list, Michigan. Saban never conquered the Big Ten. He spent 22 seasons as a coach in the Southeastern Conference, won 11 SEC titles, and 7 national championships. But in 5 seasons at Michigan State, he won more than 7 games in a season only once. He went 23-16-1 in conference play. You know if it eats at him. You know he wants the chance to prove to the world that he's not a system coach who's only capable of winning the SEC. He can win in the Big Ten too. Though probably not at Michigan State. Thankfully, it's not totally out of line to think the Michigan job could be open in the next offseason. Should things not go to plan in Sharon Moore's second season? It's a blue blood program that's won a recent national title. It has a 5-star quarterback in Bryce Underwood and has the financial backing to continue making waves. It's a turnkey operation. It's much more attractive situation than a longer-term project like Texas Tech or Florida State would be. Number one on the list, the LSU Tigers. I couldn't help but laugh during Brian Kelly's press conference Monday at the Southeastern Conference Media Days, as Kelly was asked about the possibility of Saban returning to coaching. It'd be better for college football if Nick Saban is coaching, period, said Kelly. There's nobody better to develop players and certainly build championship programs. It'd be a great day if he was back in it. Kelly does realize that if Saban actually did return to coaching, he's the man that Saban is most likely replacing, right? Am I the only one who sees this as obvious? Every other school I mentioned presents Saban the opportunity to compete for or win a national titles, but LSU is the only school other than Bama that Nick Saban has won a national title at. He doesn't need to envision it here. He has the recipe. And finally, plus, if there's a school out there willing to make a move like this, it's LSU. 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 Nothing about the idea of Saban returning to coach makes sense to me, except it makes perfect sense that Saban would return to LSU. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Is Nick Saban actually going to come back? Is there still a scratch to itch for Nick Saban? So far, as far as I know, he has not made a comment on this report. At least not a public comment on this report. Right? So, we shall see. A little bit of breaking news here before we get to phone calls. Ross Dellinger, a good example of the difficulty that any House bill will have in the Senate. Senator Maria Cantwell, the top Democrat on the Senate Commerce Committee, blasts the college sports bill that is set for markup in the House subcommittee tomorrow. If you thought the dissolution of the Pac-12 was a heist, the SCORE Act is the national championship of all heist. So there it is, somebody making a comment. In the Senate, an important senator. So we will keep following that story. I'm opening up the phone lines. You can give us a call, talk about anything in college football that your heart desires. Today, we did the Tennessee Volunteer Spotlight. Joey Aguilar, quarterback, transfer quarterback. Peyton Lewis, Deshaun Bishop. They need one or two of those guys to become something at Tennessee. The wide receiver room is very thin. Chris Brazzell, this is his time. And Jermad McCoy, hopefully he gets back from injury. Tennessee football schedule begins home game Georgia, the SEC conference schedule. We are going to learn a lot about Tennessee on September 13th. Give us a call, 763-260-1333. 763-260-1333. I don't think he likes to go north in the cold weather. Yeah, I think he's an ocean guy too, a boat guy during the warm. I don't think he's going to go north. I think it's Texas Tech or LSU. I think Michigan is completely out of it. Florida State, I don't know. Don't know about that. The Big Lubbock can see him back in Baton Rouge. Saban lives in Florida. He's a lake guy. I'm sure Sin City would love to have Kelly back. That's a good point. I think LSU is going to be very good this year, though. So that is the one thing about I don't think LSU is going to collapse. I think they're going to be really good this year. But we shall see. Ryan Thomas, Sankey back to LSU. I think you meant Saban. Is totally possible. Morris Simmons is not interested. Saban is also being paid by Bama, which is a good point. Good point. And again, here is I'm gonna play it and pause it. Here is the SEC. Any given Saturday, a Netflix sports series offering an exclusive look at key matchups through the SEC season premieres August 5th. Witness the unparalleled pressure, commitment, and raw emotion it takes to be a D1 player football in college football's leading conference.
Now, as a little boy, teachers would ask, what do you want to be when you grow up? I'd say college football player.
The SEC is the greatest place in the world to play college football.
It's the SEC teams who are winning the national championship.
There's such small towns, maybe there's 30,000. But then you pull up to the stadium and there's 90,000 people.
Again, this is going to be shown, this documentary, I think it's an 8-part series, is going to be shown internationally. It's going to be, so if you are in Poland, you're going to be able to watch this. If you are in Ireland, you're going to be able to watch this. If you are in Mexico, you are going to be able to watch this under their Netflix structure.
If you play in this league, you will walk into the light.
Every kid in this state grow up dreaming to play for one of the universities.
Florida, Tennessee, Auburn, Alabama, LSU, all these teams are wrapped in the fabric of those communities.
And I have my life, mortgage, and everything associated with these 18 to 21-year-olds. What, am I crazy?
Each game feels like a Super Bowl for these teams.
It's a brotherhood here.
Get your ass off and finish. Take what's yours.
How crazy would that have been?
My first Florida game. It's a real moment. There's been a lot of expectations.
Garrett Nussmeier is going to have a draft decision to make.
I don't really know what the future is. The way Diego approaches his work inspired me.
The only place in the SEC
That's not hard to play is Vanderbilt.
I heard that. That fuels me.
That's great. When Nick Saban said that, I was watching college football game day when Saban said that, and Diego Pavia says that comment by Nick Saban, that fueled Pavia, and they beat Alabama in Vandy.
Whenever something goes bad, I can either feel sorry for myself or I can embrace it, attack it. I still got a job to do.
This is the biggest game in a generation.
One huge win can change your life.
This is my last chance, and I won't be denied.
Yeah, I thought that was a pretty good trailer for August 15th, only on Netflix. And it's going to be all over Netflix international markets. I didn't see one Georgia jersey. Now, not every team took part in this. I don't know what teams did not take part in it. Was Georgia one of the teams that did not take part in it? Then they maybe not, they won't show their jersey that much. I don't know. The phones are open. The phones are open. Greg, you never talked about the new Ohio State documentary on HBO. I guess I did. I didn't talk about the Michigan either on a couple years ago on Amazon. I think I talked about it for 2 minutes. That's right, college football is shifting to streaming platforms. Louisiana Tech officially was voted in by the Sun Belt Conference today. Louisiana Tech, the 14th member of the Sun Belt Conference. Sounds like Conference USA is going to remain at 10 teams for now. If you're new to the channel, and you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to our channel. Smash the like button if you like our content. If you do subscribe, make sure you turn your notifications on. We can come on live at any time, morning, afternoon, or evening. This is the first day of the SEC Media Days. We covered it. We covered what was reported. At least a lot of it, from Heather Dinich, Brett McMurphy, Last Word on CFP, Nicole Auerbach, Ross Dellinger, we covered in the show, Tennessee we covered, and Nick Saban. And it doesn't look like anyone is interested in calling, so we are going to turn the phones down and out. I want to thank Ryan Willie for donating to our program, helping us keep the lights on. Thank you much, Ryan Willie. I appreciate everybody joining us here July 14th. We are going to shut it down. Not really any action going on with the PATC Einsteins. No phone calls, no super chats, no real conversations. So we're going to shut it down, and we're going to see you tomorrow, Tuesday, July 15th, the second day of the Southeastern Conference Media Days. New coaches are going to be up on stage. We're going to be talking about what they say. There's really not going to be any news when it comes to Greg Sankey. So we're going to do a new team under the spotlight as we get ready for the college football season to start. The excitement is building. Thank you so very much. Until next time, from all of us at College Football's Peek Around the Corner, to all of you, please, 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 you all take great care of each other. Thank you so very much.